Welcome to Let Freedom Ring. As always, we're keeping Soapy Pre-Up out of the studio. We're not as concerned as we have been about him coming in. But my guest today, making fourth, a regular of the show, John Maksin. John, welcome to the show.
Dan, pleasure.
Always good to have you on. So yeah, we're 2 days away from Thanksgiving, But how have you been since the last time you were on the show? I think it was a couple months ago at this point, maybe June.
Well, I got a haircut since.
Colin did notice.
Yeah, Colin noticed. Thank you, Colin. Dan, you had not, so I don't know if I should be insulted.
Well, certain things I notice, certain things I don't.
Right. Yeah, just I've been playing a little bit more softball, getting ready for the fall and then winter months to come around, so prepping around the house. My favorite holiday just passed Halloween, so I mean that was that was for me that's my little Super Bowl moment. But just been doing the same old, just different day.
Nice. Halloween's my number 2. 4th of July, obviously. I named my show Let Freedom Ring.
Right.
That's my favorite. You plan on playing any indoor softball this winter?
Actually, I'm doing an indoor league right now for MSS in the Dome and Hookset.
Okay. Is that the Wednesday night?
Correct. So they're doing the hardball, wooden bat for men, single wall and/or wooden bat for females. So.
Very nice. I hoping to play in that. Steve said, because everybody knows I work Monday, Wednesday nights. Can't commit to that. But Steve had been saying he's going to open it up to maybe a Tuesday, Thursday for the next session. So, Steve Dovich, holding you to that. I would really like to play. I'd like to do something during the week.
I think you'd enjoy it too. It's a real nice facility. A lot of people are playing. A lot of people that you know a lot more than I do.
Yeah.
A good group from both U-Trip and MSS players combined, just to get something in for the winter months. So.
Yeah. No, it's good to break it up. Because during the winter, you need something going on.
Right.
I used to do volleyball until I tore my rotator cuff. I'm not going to go back to that.
The thing I didn't like with playing in Candia, again, there's something to do, but I just was not a fan of that low ceiling.
Oh, really?
Right, and then you hit it, you play off of it, which it's one of those things. It's so dumb, it's fun.
Yeah.
And however, this one in the dome itself with bigger ceiling. It's the closest thing to outdoor ball you're going to get. So.
Yeah. I played at a cool place in Rhode Island before, but I remember we used to play in Manchester. Both places I played in Manchester were really, really tiny. But you looking forward to Thanksgiving?
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of which, I was explaining to you, about 2, 3, 4 a.m., which one I decide to. My son and I were going to head down to New Jersey, visit my family. Friends as well. I love it. Anytime you can get together with, friends and family and celebrate and go around the table and express, what it is that you're thankful for. I love that stuff. So.
Now, what are you thankful for in this year, 2021? I know last year was the big COVID year. We've had a little bit, obviously COVID's still here. But anything particularly thankful in 2021?
Nothing really stands out to me. First and foremost, the health of my son. Thankful for that, of course. I'm thankful that I am able to provide, have a roof over his head, stuff like that. And that also includes my niece, my nephews, sisters, my brother, my parents, and as well as you, the rest of the people I play softball with, and my friends, my close friends. Particularly excluding the cliche stuff, I'm happy that we're getting back to some sort of normalcy in our day-to-day lives and as close to a pre-COVID lifestyle as it can be, given certain circumstances. But again, I know it sounds cliche, but I really am. I couldn't be more fortunate and thankful for my health and my son's health.
Oh, good answer. I mean, I feel the same way. We're always thankful for our family and friends, and That's always the big one. I mean, I am thankful every year. The Turkey Bowl, we just did that on Sunday. That went smooth. We had a lot of participation in it.
Did you play?
I played only a couple of I don't like to be out there as much anymore. Ever since I tore my rotator cuff.
You don't like to be out there, or they didn't?
I used to.
They didn't want you out there.
Well, maybe it's both. Before, I mean, I loved flag football.
Yeah.
I really, really did. I mean, that's why I made a tournament about it. But when I did tear my rotator cuff in flag football, which I also fractured my ankle, I have a metal plate because of flag football. I can't say
Yeah.
So many injuries lead up to. I've never really been hurt playing softball. I have been hurt bad from flag football. 2 major injuries. So.
This is flag football. It's not even tackle football either.
Yeah. So, and I played rugby in college, and I played a little football in high school. Never had any injuries like that. So it kind of just, it's hard to go out there. I know I won't play offense anymore. It is hard for me to go out there and not be worried about something happening.
Right.
And it's expensive when it does happen. These aren't like life-threatening things, but they're
expensive. It takes a lot of time to recover.
Yeah.
We've talked about that before. I've had issues with my shoulder. Still have issues with it to this day. Granted, some rehabbing and working out, helps alleviate some of that pain. But you're absolutely right. It's expensive. It was a lot of money. Just something. It's good that you get out there and be active, right? But you also want to be smart about it too, given us being a little bit older than high school age.
So I don't know. At some point, maybe I'll play more downs. But a lot of times too, when you're running something, it is hard to it's hard to participate as well too. Like as I've said, when I coach softball, it's easier for me to just coach than have to worry about playing too. So.
We also run the pickup league too.
Yeah.
After September, right? You started.
Yeah, we got to go once the men's league is over. So.
I mean, that seems like it's a full-time job too.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we're gonna see how now when I take over the Sunday Co-ed League, we're really gonna see.
He's being modest.
We'll
it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Just one more thing. Do you have a favorite side dish at Thanksgiving? And have you had any time at Thanksgiving where you didn't have turkey and something else?
You get the one hardo that tries to just throw ham out there, and I can't stand that. Like, you have to have turkey.
Yeah.
You have to. That's actually a red flag.
Yeah.
If I go into someone's house and there's no turkey. Favorite side. You got to go. And it's a tie. Mashed potatoes and stuffing. I love it. And I'm like a 4-year-old with my plate. Get turkey. Put the stuffing on top. Mashed potatoes, and then gravy, and it's just like one big pile, like just big pile of food. I don't, segregate it on the dish or whatnot. It's right there, and the inner 4-year-old in me is just going to town.
I do love that too. I did tell my team at work, my big side is green olives. I'm obsessed with green olives, and I don't like. It's not just Thanksgiving. It's like an actual problem, where when COVID hit. People in Merrimack must have been pissed because I think I cleared out all the green olives at the Shaw's by the bowling alley. Like, I have a real problem. It's bad. I can eat a whole thing of them just sitting down. I don't know what it is.
Now, do you have a second one?
For side?
Yeah.
I think anything mashed potatoes and stuffing. I mean, pretty traditional. I don't like squash.
No, yeah.
Could care less about squash. You gotta have gravy. Cranberry sauce, out of the can. There's no other way to really do it. Trying to think if anything else really sticks out at Thanksgiving.
When I was younger, I had it so much.
Yeah.
And it's been to the point where I can't even have it anymore.
Cranberry sauce?
Yeah.
Really?
And it's unfortunate because it's obviously it's a go-to.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was younger, I would just kill it with that. But definitely abuse that too much. So I'm nowhere near having that anymore.
Do you like black olives? I'm not a big fan.
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
Absolutely
green,
not.
I could eat them all day.
I don't even do
Black,
green. Nope.
Oh, no olives.
I'm real like a foodie. Like I'm picky with my food. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. But anytime you've ever had anything different, just the ham.
Yeah, I mean, like I'll have it. I I don't know. I don't know if it's like someone just trying to be like looking for a conversation starter.
Like, oh, look, I did something
hey,
different.
like, yeah, it's like the elephant in the room. Like, all right, where's the turkey? It's like, okay, cool. Like,
Yeah.
bring it out.
Yeah.
That said, I'm making light of it. I'm being a kind of what.
Ham is Easter, though, to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, that said, like, it's Thanksgiving. It's supposed to be a day you're thankful for
Yeah.
with friends and family. So you kind of, put your differences aside on entree meals for that particular moment because it's, given the day.
And you can enjoy some football. I will say it's always the Lions. Well, are we getting the Redskins, Cowboys again this year? I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's definitely the Cowboys. I don't know who they have on the schedule. I remember years ago that Calvin Johnson went off on the Eagles, and I think it was like Byron Maxwell. It was like his first year with the Eagles, and I don't know if it was him or somebody else but Calvin Johnson, I think, had like 4 touchdowns and was just going off. And it's like, you can't flip it to another channel because it's the only thing that's on TV.
Yeah.
And it's my favorite team on top of that. And you're like, this is...
I just want to say, my whole life, the Lions should have to be like, until you guys are relevant and even remotely decent, you shouldn't get to be on Thanksgiving. What's the contract there? How did that happen? How does Detroit get a stranglehold on Thanksgiving? I'd love to watch the Patriots on Thanksgiving.
That's probably why they put that third game in.
They're like, enough's enough.
Yeah, we
People
have to
aren't.
get something in.
Yeah. I truly don't think the Lions really. I hate it. I don't know, and I got to look up the games. I'm excited. I obviously love to have Thanksgiving football. Feel for the players a little bit because they don't get to be home with their families.
Right.
But
see, I can understand like the once in a while playing.
Yeah.
It's out of the ordinary. That's pretty cool, right? Like it's a bucket list thing to check off as a professional athlete. Hey, I got to play on Thanksgiving. You do it every year. For example, like Matt Stafford. All those years with the Lions, and
this is why Barry Sanders retired so early. I don't want to play on Thanksgiving.
Calvin Johnson. These guys want to be with their families. Yeah. You do empathize a bit with those guys that are on either the Cowboys and Lions, year in year out, playing on Thanksgiving, not being able to celebrate it the whole day with their families. However, the trade-off, nice paycheck.
They do get paid a lot. Now, Target's going to be closed on Thanksgiving. Big difference between someone working at Target and playing in the NFL. I don't think you can compare those paychecks. But Target will be closed. And I think that's the right thing. Like I've worked on Thanksgiving before, not retail or anything. I was working at a semi-lockup facility. You have to keep that going. The residents aren't going anywhere. So that I understood. But I did get time and a half, so I was willing to do it. But Thanksgiving, I can't believe it's already here. 2021, I feel like I'm still in March 2020.
Yeah.
Because that's when the world shut down, and it's like, wow, we're already at the end of 2021.
It's about to be 2 years coming up.
I can't believe it.
And it's felt like 3 lifetimes have gone by since then.
Yeah, to think I've been working from home for almost 2 years. It's hard to believe. Let's get into some current events here. The Kyle Rittenhouse case they've come to a verdict. He's found innocent. If you're not familiar with this, it was in Kenosha, Wisconsin, during a protest after the shooting of Jacob Blake, who was shot in the back. Which was another tough one where we're just taking videos of things and then coming up to our own conclusions without knowing what's going on. There's some ones that are open and shut. Right. But anyways, there was unrest. This 17-year-old did go into Kenosha, where he did have family there.
Then 17-year-old.
Then 17, I'm sorry, he's 18 now. 2 people dead, he did shoot another one. Found innocent, self-defense. Did they get this right?
Yeah. Make no mistake about it. In my opinion, he went looking for trouble. Whether or not you can audit someone's true intent, it's to be determined. That's just a hunch I have. I just don't. I think it takes a special human being to travel the distance that he did wanting to protect the community that he doesn't live in.
But his dad does.
Right. That said, it was self-defense.
Yeah.
And you're going to get a lot of people, and rightfully so, that will be a little bit upset and play devil's advocate. Had this been somebody of color, would this been the same verdict? Would this have even made a trial? I don't know. I'd like to think that all those things would have been the same. I'd also be naive to think otherwise. That said, it doesn't matter, in my opinion, someone's skin color, their gender, their religion of practice, their nationality, you name it. You have a right to defend yourself at any given moment, just as much as the other person. And it's unfortunate that it came to this particular case, where it turned deadly. And that said, for Kyle Rittenhouse, granted, he's probably obviously not watching this. You hope that there's some advice from the legal team, family members, friends. He's got a second chance at life. Take advantage of it.
I mean, one thing I took away from the trial, it is important who the judge is, because the judge definitely was very in favor of him. I mean, just watching the trial, you're like, this judge likes this kid a lot. It depends on who's on that jury. And that's really how our court system is. Now, there was videos of this. Obviously, Rosenbaum, the first guy, he was going at him when that happened. If I saw someone walking around with it, and I don't agree with Kyle bringing that gun there, because if he was protecting say he was going to protect, what was this, the car dealership?
Yeah.
If he started shooting people, he's guilty, because that's not self-defense. So why have the gun? Why have the gun there in the first place? I felt like the gun put a target on his back, which is why I think this Rosenbaum guy, who I've heard, not some great things about him, charged at him, wanted to grab his gun. I kind of understand that. Huber, he thought, he went after him with the skateboard. And I guess the third guy pointed a gun at him who didn't die. I mean, you shouldn't be going at somebody with. If I saw someone with a gun like that, I'm not going at them. But sometimes these, what should be peaceful protests, I think Kyle may have been looking for trouble, maybe not. I do think when you have even peaceful protests, you do find other people. They're not there to be peaceful. They're also looking for trouble.
Mob mentality takes over. And you get, this might be apples to oranges, but you get, say, 100 people, 90 of them are probably there for the purpose, good intent, trying to get the message across. This is regardless of how you feel about the message.
Yeah.
Just in general. Then you get 10 that are going there they're a little hot.
Yeah.
Then they're getting a little ramped up, and then whether or not there's alcohol or drugs getting involved into them, and then as the night plays on, are they able to sway any of the 90 people, and win them over, and eventually mob mentality does take over. In this particular case, I would bet every dollar that I have that majority of the people that went out there were there for good intent. That said, it got violent. It absolutely got violent. And that's, where do you draw the line between protecting the neighborhood and not? And it's a, I don't know if it's a slippery slope or whatnot, but you have people that are going out there looking to cause trouble. In this particular case, trouble was found.
I think he had a target on his back by having that with him. I really do.
I think he went looking maybe to help. I'll give him that. But that being said, you have to know what you're getting into when you're going to the lion's den like that. how that's going to be received.
Yeah.
And for him, he stood out like a sore thumb. But he also does have a right to defend himself. At that particular moment, like, he's legally able to do that. Then once people start attacking him in a violent manner, yeah, you're right. He can protect himself. Again, it might be apples and oranges, but you heard that same argument with the Charlottesville stuff. I don't even agree with that message, but I would bet every dollar that a good amount of them were there to just speak their piece on what they thought was right in the world. However, it got violent.
Yeah.
It turned into a riot. And that's the only way.
You get enough people out in one spot, it's bound to happen.
Right.
I thought maybe they could have maybe got him on manslaughter. It seemed like homicide was a little bit. I think he's guilty of something here. It's just what is it? What's the consequence? I don't really know. Do you know what I mean?
I can argue the moral compass may be guilt. In the legal terms, no, I don't know what you can get him with.
Yeah.
And that's something, it's unfortunate because, two people, right? Two people had died.
Two died. The third was shot.
Third
admitted that he pointed a gun at him.
Right, and
because he thought he was an active shooter.
Now, what happens with him? Like, you hear talks of GOP lawmakers wanting him to be an intern for them. I don't know.
Can I just say this? There's no hero here. None of them are heroes.
No.
Kyle Rittenhouse is not a hero. Okay, the other two guys, they're not heroes either. But you know what? This has been perfect sound bites and perfect just to add to the division. Because I'm looking at Facebook, and I can predict who's going to take what side on what issue of just friends of mine without it really mattering what the issue is. I can tell who's watching Fox News and I can tell who's watching CNN every single time. You got CNN saying that he's definitely guilty, okay? You got Fox, Tucker Carlson's like, we're going to give this guy, we're going to get him on. He knows it's going to drive up his ratings. The lawyer for Kyle Rittenhouse said, you shouldn't do that. Don't go on Tucker Carlson.
No, and Fox, I mean, obviously it depends on who the individual is. In this particular case, Fox will have him out as one of the founding fathers. CNN has him as the Antichrist. Yeah. And here's just, guys like us and majority of society, he's just probably somewhere in between.
Yeah.
That's about it. This is done and it's over with in my mind. There's no need for him to go on instantly as an intern or any kind of political office just because of this particular case. Now, I don't know what his, views are and his political stance are on most things. It seems like he's a Second Amendment guy, obviously. Other than that, I don't know where he stands on. So, for him to run for office, and whether it be the local or state level, seems a little immature to me. Yeah. Or even to be an intern anywhere else, because he would be using this platform to get him there, which I don't agree with personally. But I mean, he would definitely get a lot of votes, though. Unfortunately.
Well, it's crazy how how our society is. When I can predict the takes of most people before they even know the whole story, I know we got a problem here.
I mean, I feel like you should just start working for the Facebook algorithm.
Yeah.
Program then.
It's just
screw the computers. You can just do it.
Yeah, it's I know this person's gonna take that take. I know this person's gonna take that take, and it's again, I just want to say it. There's no heroes here. The Ahmaud Arbery case is now taking place. I think this one's more this guy. They thought he was a burglar. They chased him down. They started with him, and then they killed him. To me, this one feels like a slam dunk, being murder. We're going to have to wait to see what kind of comes out on that. But I can tell you, again, it's just another. I'm not seeing a lot of people actually talking about this, but the Rittenhouse one, I guess, was more plastered everywhere. But this, this one took place in Georgia.
And the Ghislaine Maxwell trial thing's going on right now, too.
And that's not getting a lot of hype.
No, so that always kind of makes me wonder too. Why is it one particular case getting the most attention? But then again, media outlets do
It's
have
probably
to do that.
they probably are looking at what people are talking about on social media, and that's what gets played more. I'm sure YouTube is. If you go into YouTube, you're gonna see like 9 Kyle Rittenhouse videos. It's really gonna come down. I mean, once there's a verdict in that case, you know, maybe it blows up. But yeah, it's weird how it works, or weird what the media, both sides of the media.
The Maxwell thing seems like it would be. I mean, you and I both know why they don't, want to broadcast that, but that's probably the most. That would get talked about the most in my mind. But there's special interest groups and individuals that I'm sure they're looking to not bring the light, right? So.
Yeah, it's very interesting, the world we live in. But I am hoping that in the Ahmaud Arbery case, both those guys are found guilty, because that seems like murder. But last night at the Barclays Center, WWE was there. Someone jumped the barricade and attacked one of the wrestlers. And it sounds like this guy has some mental health issues, as he almost, from what his post today was, that he thinks he's working for the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Any take on a wrestling fan jumping the guardrail? And I mean, he hit Seth Rollins like a linebacker.
Well, you already think I think wrestling's weird already.
Not a fan.
But that's that. Just wrestling fan aside.
Yeah.
I don't think any fan should be doing that. Should
Any
be jumping on
event,
any sport. Yeah. You're there to be a spectator. It's for entertainment purposes. That said, I get overly excited as well, just as much as anybody else. There's a time and a place for doing certain things, and that's not one of them. Jumping on and being a part of the excitement, know your role in that environment. You got to just, but if it's mental health, it's
something doesn't seem right, because he went on Instagram saying why he did it, and it was like, what? It's a show, dude. It's not a...
Yeah, right,
He got catfished by a fake Seth Rollins account. So let's just also put it that way.
There's some people that take it too far. It seems like this is, he's one of those individuals that took it a little bit too far. Whether or not mental health is at that, I don't know. I would hope that it's an issue of just maturity, to where like that can get worked with and someone can coach him up. That you can't behave like this, not only like at an event like that, with, at that arena, even at a small arena with,
I mean, this happened
hundreds of people, or say, 40 people. You can't act like that.
I mean, last time I was at Barclays, someone attacked Bret Hart. So it's like I think they got a security issue, because people are getting over and they're laying their hands on the wrestlers and talent.
If they're having security issues, we have a good security team here.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, we can get you their business card, Barclays. Hopefully they can. I mean, we've been able to keep Soapy out, so maybe they can stop people from jumping the barrier. Let's ask you some softball questions. Let me ask this: are umpires underappreciated in slow pitch softball?
No, I don't think an umpire should really be a part of the game.
Wow.
Just call strikes, call balls, call it how it is, and that's about it.
What if they are doing that and it still becomes...
Well, then I think that just becomes a problem with the players. I mean, it's like any other sport. You call a game. There's going to be some stuff that you agree and disagree with, of course. But if the umpire is becoming too much, if he or she is too involved in the game, that's an issue for me. Like, you're there to call a game, facilitate any issues, and that's about it.
Because I know there was an issue in U-Trip. I usually find the ASA umpires to be a little more trying to control the game than U-Trip. But there was an issue with Dave Coulis, and he's supposed to be a guest on the show soon, where a guy really went at him. And it was just like, I understood where Dave's like, why am I doing this?
Right.
I'm not making thousands and thousands of dollars being an umpire. It's a way for them to still be part of the game and have some fun too. I do feel like they're a little underappreciated at times. if someone's gonna act like that, it's like you think you have the right to act that way.
If that's, I mean, you play more than I do, so maybe your opinion's more valid than mine. Just from what I've come across, it's very seldom that it gets to a level to where it's out of control. So, I mean, again, I speak for myself. I go up and, hello and stuff like that, and, make small talk and bust chops a little bit here and there. If there's something I disagree with, I'll vocalize it. But at the end of the day, I leave it. That's why they're there. And again, they make mistakes. We don't have instant replay.
Yeah.
You take it for whatever it's worth. I'm just on the side of, I try not to put the games into the decision of the umpire. And this is any sport. I don't like to put them high up on the pedestal either. Like, I just go, I try to do my job, talk to my teammates about doing their job, and the rest should be good. But that being said, it's a smaller community, it's a tight-knit community. A lot of these umps are umping 4 or 5 days a week in the summer. You build a little bit of a rapport with them, especially if you're a pitcher or a catcher. I'm an outfielder, so I'm kind of just on my own little island, and to me, everything looks like a strike back there.
Yeah.
When our guys are going up there, so.
Do you see any breakout players for 2022 coming out? Anybody that's poised to have a breakout year?
Yeah, I feel like everybody on the MCC roster.
Really?
Yeah.
You could even see Alex Lambroulis having a huge year.
He would have to show up.
Ooh.
Nah, he's a good ball player.
Yeah.
What he may lack athletically makes up for so much in just high IQ.
Yeah.
He's such a smart player.
He takes his fantasy football very, very seriously, even if there's no money on the line. We did learn that.
Learned it the hard way.
He was very upset. Was ready to end his friendship with you. And were you guys able to repair this, or?
Well, I found our friendship token. He was putting it up for eBay as of last week. Alex is a good guy.
Yeah.
He busts my chops. I bust his. It's a good friendship. And I'll say this without getting too in depth on air. A lot of, and as of late there was one, but anytime I have an emergency or whatnot, and I need to get a hold of him, he's right there.
Yeah.
So, just like you, that one incident at the field with him and other guys, he's right there. But to your point, I mean, there's a lot of guys on our team that I know will have breakout years. They'll continue to play well, as well. We didn't play. Most of us had not played in 2020. When we came back for this past season in 2021, it was just remarkable, my eyes as well as Daryl's, how well everyone had played, given the long layoff. And it was something that we were talking about, going into the seasons. Hey, this is how we see the lineup, but how's it going to play out with these particular individuals that hadn't played? Like, are they going to be the players that we had thought that like in 2019? Are they going to be able to keep up that momentum? You got a lot of those guys from Milford that are getting comfortable being on the team. Dave, Jesse, Frank. Those guys are becoming more comfortable playing. And I think every individual on that team, and that's just the truth. Every individual on that team, I think, is going to have a real good year.
And we got some new players coming too, so we're very curious how they're going to perform.
Right, and they're on a 1-year contract, so I mean,
we didn't sign them too long.
No.
Did you see the LeBron James? Who was the other guy?
I forgot to put the elbow to the face. Yeah.
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 And the other guy went nuts.
Yeah.
Do you think LeBron did that? It didn't look intentional to me.
it's hard because they're so tall, and to where like for him, normal people like are anywhere like below her. So like him moving an elbow like.
I would have knocked one of us. That probably would have knocked
Absolutely.
me
And
out.
excuse me. I mean, he was bleeding real bad.
Yeah.
I think there was some intent there. I think they got it right with one game.
The other, and God, what was his name?
I mean, I know who you're talking about, but
Isaiah-
2 games with him.
Yeah. I mean, man, they was taking everything to hold. I mean, you get hit in the face and you're bleeding. Kind of understand that a little bit,
It's if he had just stayed there too. It's easier said than done, right? You get really hit in the face.
Yeah.
I mean, and you're ticked off for a bit. But you got to be able to cool down at some point.
Yeah.
They
They were talking about locking him in a room. I'm like, really? We're at that point? At that point, if you're going to lock someone in a room, you get the police.
Right. And of all places, to Detroit.
Yeah, which already has they didn't, the last time that happened, though, with Meta World Peace and all them, that wasn't in Detroit.
Yeah.
Well, why would
the Mouse
Detroit,
and the Palace.
so players from fans from the other team threw some,
So
I could have sworn that was an Indy.
It was the Pacers, Detroit, and Ron Artest, I believe, was just finally cooling down. They had bad blood anyway because of the year before in the playoffs.
But they were in Indiana, right?
Detroit.
So who threw a water bottle at him?
A Detroit fan threw, and then Artest went into the stands.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because they were good then. Why would they? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. Because Artest was on Indiana. I'm an idiot. Yep.
Yeah.
Got it. Yes.
Hold on, Colin, if you can grab that, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Please.
Don't let that be too much of a soundbite. Yes, I understand. That was in Detroit, and I confused myself. Ben Wallace was still on the team. Yes, he was on Indiana when that happened.
Those were good teams too. Real
Yeah.
good teams. So I think that's where a lot of their bad blood was leading into that. And if don't quote me on this. One of the channels did a little docu series on it that I would recommend checking up on. I just don't know which one it was, but very little insightful for a lot of behind the scenes stuff that led into it. Yeah.
Yeah. And on the PA the other night, they're just stay in your seats.
Right.
Because LeBron James ain't going to the stands to fight people.
No, and what's the difference between him and then Ron Artest, but Meta World Peace? It's just the difference between those two. LeBron's a brand.
Yeah.
Also he's well into his 30s. He's
been in
the league. Been in the league for 15 years.
As long as I've been out of high school,
A lot longer.
17 years.
Yeah. Yeah. So an adult lifetime.
Yeah.
So yeah, he would never, nor would
18 years maybe actually.
Nor would anyone even allow that to take place.
Yeah.
If it got to that point. But yeah, it was nice to see that it just stayed on the court.
Yeah.
That little drama, but
Again, fans should never be getting involved. They should never throw anything at a player. They should never come onto the field to play or whatever it is.
and I view that off the court, field, wherever you want to call it, in celebration mode. Even as an Eagles fan, the Super Bowl parade, post Super Bowl, the celebration turns. You're being a fan, you're celebrating the joy with everybody around you. Then of course, tied into earlier, mob rule kind of takes over.
Yeah.
You get the one idiot, and I just don't. I can't condone. I'm not there to flip cars. I'm not there to. So, whether you're in the arena, just sit in your seat, boo, heckle, chirp, whatever you want to call it. And if your team wins or whatever, you can take it to the streets, celebrate with high fives, some screams, some chants, and stuff like that. But you gotta keep it relatively mellow.
I agree. How was now we went to Gillette Stadium 2 weeks ago almost. What was it like your first experience being there?
I had
As
a
an
good
Eagles
time.
fan.
I had a good time, really good time. I had been there on the working aspect of
Yeah.
delivering. as a fan, that was just, I mean, everything that led into it or up to it, the tailgate, getting in. We got there, I don't know, 9, right?
Yeah.
Got there early, set up, good group. I got a little shit because of my hat
Yeah.
here and there, but it was all in good fun. And then you take it to the seats, and well, I say this, it's not in like a condescending way, but like we were high up,
Yeah.
but it was like perfect.
Not a really bad seat around
No,
there.
not at all. And we were able to see the game clear as I prefer to be up
Yeah.
in that particular case. If like you can see the game, and regardless of the height, I'd rather be higher up, being able to get the full game experience, and that's in any sport, as opposed to being down and kind of like having to, adjust your neck here and there. I had a great time though. I'd wish it was a little bit closer of a game.
Not me.
Right.
I was loving
right,
life.
because I have no rooting interest.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see a little bit closer.
Yeah.
But if I was a Patriots fan, oh my gosh. Yeah, I can imagine just going crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Bob Kraft has done such amazing things. Obviously, that Patriot place is him. That stadium is him. The winning atmosphere in New England started with him.
Tom too.
Well, but him buying the team, it seems to have, 94 on. I mean, but anyways, Pats seem to be on the rise. Bills seem to be on the decline. Do you see the Pats taking it, or do you think the Bills are just having some off weeks?
There's still plenty of season left. There is some concern with the Bills, especially with when you lose to the Jaguars, and if that's supposed to be the top team in the AFC, the Bills, and you lose to like the worst team.
I mean, it happens.
Right. It doesn't happen to teams that win Super Bowls, though.
True.
So that's the argument you can get. And we've talked about this before, and I know I've said it plenty of times. There's just no clear-cut number one team in the AFC, in my eyes. A test will be this upcoming Sunday, right, against the Titans. Again, they're without Derrick Henry, but it's still going to be a tough test. That's a well-coached team. Vrabel knows how the Patriots operate as well. They're the number one seed, so you're going to see where they line up and size up with some of the better teams. And as of now, they've held their own with the Bucs, the Cowboys. And you're going to get some that will say, oh, well, they beat up on, a team without Nick Chubb, and, oh, they beat up on a Falcons team that wasn't that good, and this team and that team. It's like, well, that's what good teams do as well.
These are all professional football teams
Right.
in the NFL.
Like, what if they had lost?
Yeah.
That would be devastating. So good teams take care of what they have to do, and this is a good team. And I said it, I believe the last time I was on, they're set up for playoff football. The old saying, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Hand off, make a manageable third down. He's going to make a really accurate throw. He's not being asked to push the ball downfield, and he's going to make it. And they're going to keep the chains moving. And another thing that they have working for them is that the league is set up to defend 3 wide receiver, 4 wide receiver sets. The Patriots don't typically run that. They're running with 2 tight ends and a fullback, and they're running it right down your throat. And a lot of teams do not have the personnel to defend that. And as it gets, the weather's colder, the game goes on longer, no one wants to hit like that. No one wants to also defend the style of the play that they have. And what gets lost in it because of how well Mac Jones is playing is the defense is playing.
That's where they spent their money, and now they're doing it.
Right.
Eagles are on the rise.
Oh, they are.
Maura McCabe, believe in your team. She does not like Jalen Hurts. I do like Jalen Hurts. Do you see the Eagles making the playoffs?
Yeah, actually. I still don't think. I mean, I joke around and make it known. Like I try to find any little similarity with the Super Bowl team and this team, and it's really for shits and giggles. But do I think they're the stereotypical playoff team that you think of that can make a run? No. But they got a really easy schedule coming up, and they're sitting at 5-6 right now. They can easily take 4 of the next 5 easily, and then the last game of the year being against the Cowboys. So I think their next game coming up is the Giants, Jets. I think they got to bye the Giants again.
Giants just fired Jason Garrett.
Right.
Today.
And that usually gets a spark within the team too. So it could be a little concerning as an Eagle fan. But then, that said, those division games are tough. They're always tough. It doesn't matter how good and how bad a team is. You play a team and you do it twice in 1 year. And for a lot of these guys, if you've gone 3-4 years into it, you're looking at potentially 8 times of seeing a team and how they've operated in their personnel. Like, you have a good gist on what it is that they do.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see them do it. Yeah, I mean, it's heating up. We're in the prime of football season, really. So the Hall of Fame list has come out. Anybody that you're seeing as a first ballot? I'm trying to think of who's new here. So right now it's Bobby Abreu, Barry Bonds, Mark Burley, Roger Clemens, Carl Crawford, Prince Fielder, and Carl Crawford are both first year. I know they're both first years on there. Either one of those guys first ballot?
It kills me with the first ballot, because if you're going to make it like the second year, like what changed within the first year? I think that's just like a baseball writer's hardo move.
I can't stand the baseball writers.
Right.
Honestly.
You're going to get. I think Clemens should be in. I think a lot of them should be in. I'm biased for Bobby Abreu, being a Phillies fan, spending majority of his career there, and a very underrated player. I feel like should Lincecum be in there?
Is Lincecum? Yes, he's up.
Yeah,
Lincecum.
Sure. I think Lincecum should get in. Bond should get in easily, but
Who do you actually see, though? Because we also got Ryan Howard, Tim Hudson, Torrey Hunter, Andrew Jones. I love Andrew Jones, but I don't see it. Jeff Kent, Tim Lincecum, Justin Marneau, John Nathan, David Ortiz. Do you see him getting in?
Ortiz should get in, but you're going to get some that are going to be like, oh, well, there's some, there's a little bit of doubt with, his performance enhancers.
From 2003. I do think he's either the best or second best DH of all time.
To Edgar Martinez?
Yeah. That's it. I mean, Edgar Martinez is in. He kind of made the DH the position, the spot that it is.
It baffles me that in the year 2021 that we're still going down this road of, oh, well, we're not going to vote him in because, they had been juicing or whatnot. The whole league had been.
Yeah.
The whole league had been. And you go in years past, corked bats, players were taking amphetamines before games. Every generation has has had
some
an issue,
kind of black eye.
Especially with baseball. Of that group,
Papelbon, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer.
And that's not like I just don't think he's a Hall of Famer in general. I'd like to see Ryan Howard make it as a Phillies fan. I don't think he will.
Man, it's
Jimmy Rollins on there, right? I think he should be.
Yes, Jimmy Rollins, Scott Rollins on there.
Oh yeah, I think both of them should make it. Scott Rowland definitely.
Kurt Schilling continues to be on there. Gary Sheffield, Sosa's on it. Mark Teixeira, Omar Vizquel, Billy Wagner. I want to know who the first year guys were. Mandy's on it. I think Alex Rodriguez is on it for the first time. He'll never get in.
And that's a shame, because that was one of the best hitters.
Andy Pettit's still on it. AJ Perninsky.
I mean, think about it too. Like, all of those players, not all, a good amount of them, we're all using.
Yeah.
And those were the ones that rose to the top. Like, if that whole generation had been using, so it's either no one from that generation gets in, or you have to reward the people that played well in that generation.
I feel like I'm going to be pissed again. They're going to announce the Hall of Fame class. I'm not just going to be pissed because David Ortiz isn't on it. I feel like they're going to give us maybe one or no players, and there's just players that you want. I love the Hall of Fame, and they're just killing it, Let's get into blank versus blank. Give you two things, pick one, tell me why. Who's making the play? Who's winning the division, the AFC East? Patriots or Bills?
Patriots.
All right, who's going to make it further in the playoffs? The Bucks or the Cowboys?
Bucks.
I think the Bucks are still.
I don't go against Tom. I
It's
don't
hard
go
to do
against
it.
Tom.
Did you watch last night?
Yeah, they look good.
And he still didn't think that was enough.
No, it probably wasn't, right? If you break down the film, which they are today and they did on their plane ride home, there's, an assortment of plays that you can go through and like, hey, we could have done this, we could have done that, and that is the sign of a champion, right there, is that you're looking to improve upon an already good performance. So,
Who would you rather as your starting quarterback, Don McNabb or Jalen Hurts?
McNabb.
Okay, the Eagles fans finally supporting the guy. They really don't like Jalen Hurts in Philly.
I think he's good. I just don't think he's a franchise quarterback. And a decision has to be made. Him being in his second year, I think he has a 4-year deal on his rookie contract. You're going to have to decide whether or not he's the guy. And the Eagles are due to have, if the Eagles don't make a playoff run and they kind of finish at 500, they're going to have the Dolphins pick. I forget who other pick they have. They potentially, they can, and then depending on how much Carson Wentz plays, they can have 3 first-round picks. So if you're unsure of Jalen Hurts, you got to make a decision now. And you might be able to trade him to somebody and get, some picks. But if there's any doubt in their minds with him as a franchise quarterback, you have to get one. Now, if they want to roll with him and move forward, I wouldn't prefer that, but I wouldn't be losing sleep over it either. You're going to have to get the tools around him, and you're going to have to get a team built that's around his skill set and his skill set only, and roll with that.
I do like the kid, but as Mo says, I really like running quarterbacks, which is partly true. But when you're watching Monday Night Football, would you rather watch the Manning cast or a regular
Manning
commentary?
cast.
So good.
It's awesome.
I love it. That's how I watch Monday Night Football now. When they're on, I think they're taking a break.
I don't know if it's because it's so new, but I was just never a fan of the Monday Night crew to begin with.
Yeah.
It's the same story about the same players over and over, and I guess it's kind of changed within like the past 2 years because your Mannings have retired, and a lot of the older players that have been playing for so long have moved on. But I can't take another Ben Roethlisberger backstory. Even as much as I love Brady, another Brady backstory,
it's just I like watching people shoot in the breeze. They asked Julian Edelman point blank last night. They're like, "Did Tom ask you to come down to Tampa?" He goes, "First day." He says, "You want to come down?" And I said, "Absolutely not." So,
and that's admirable too.
I love Julian Edelman. That was really cool last night. Would you rather chew Bazooka Joe or Big League Chew?
Big League Chew.
Stuff's the best.
Yeah.
It loses flavor so quick, though.
I know, they all do. It's kind of like dip, just the little bit of the shreds of it.
Yeah, I know. Looking back, and I've quit chewing tobacco, but looking back, Big League Chew, I never put together. That was just when I was a kid. That's just chewing tobacco for kids, which is kind of an odd thing to be selling to kids, but.
Yeah. And at least it was with me, my friends. You'd get a whole pack and you just stuff it in your mouth.
Oh yeah, I gave some to my nephew and he had a wide, huge cheek of it. So, all right. Before I ask the two tough, actually, we're gonna ask the two tough ones now. Captain Darrell Martell. Daryl. I like to call him Darrell, just personally, because of the way he spells it differently than I've seen Daryl spelled. Or Jamie Abood.
As captain.
You can only take one as a player.
As a player?
Because Jamie's kind of a clubhouse leader.
Oh, he's a huge clubhouse leader.
You know?
Jeez, you put me on the spot.
We don't...
I know. I'll say, look, Daryl, I give him so much credit with putting the lineup together. He takes every person's personal traits, their abilities to play, and considers all of that. He looks through the stats. I'm sure there's probably people texting him, "Hey, I think I should be higher up on the lineup," and stuff like that. And,
Trust me, that's
and for him to kind of like hold composure and stuff like that.
he's very like laid back.
Right. Jamie's the ultimate teammate. And you had said that to me off the air, and I definitely agree with that. He's a tremendous pitcher, a tremendous second baseman. He's a good hitter. When he's hot, he's hot. Even when he's not hitting as well, that guy is as upbeat as possible, and he's running down the line, gives it 110%. I mean, I know it's as like corny and cliche as it gets, but that's that guy summed up. And you definitely want, where can we feel 10? You definitely want 10 Jamie Aboods on your team.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we take both those guys. Last one. Who's going to have a better year for MCC? Tristan Winslow, new player, or John
Salvaggio.
Salvaggio?
What are you going to call it? Sludge what?
Okay. John, you know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
Salvagano. No.
Salvaggio.
Salvaggio. Okay. Who you got?
Again, both good players. Tristan, tremendous pop from the left side of the as a lefty. Hits for power. Yeah, good contact hitter too. Great speed, great fielder. I mean, and as I'm saying this is summing up John. The same thing. Big guy with a lot of power, good contact hitter, and people think because he's a big guy, he can't. He can move.
Oh yeah.
And he's got a tremendous arm. And I'll say this: you can put both of them anywhere. Granted, like Tristan's more geared for the outfield. John probably best suited for the infield, but there's not a spot on that field like you can put them and place them right in and not bat an eye. Both are tremendous players.
They're going to help our offense quite a bit.
Absolutely.
But
Great
John,
addition.
it's always a pleasure. Everybody out there, I want everybody except for Soapy Pre-Op to have an absolutely wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope it's enjoyable. Again, except for Soapy. Again, we're pushing for the vaccine here. If you don't want to get it, it's up to you. If they ask you to wear a mask, we're asking that too. And keep your heads up out there. But until next time, let freedom ring.